the idea that I, preach regularly, right, that I'm the evangelist for, is using your book to attract your ideal client and get more of what it is that you want, right? And that could be anything from readers of all of your other content to selling high ticket services, coaching, consulting, products, etc., right? All right. Hey, everybody. Rob Kosberg here with Bestseller Publishing. Excited to be with you today. I have, maybe what some might consider a boring title, which actually is like the curse of trying to attract people. But it's what came to my mind when I actually first started thinking about this. And I'm going to share a little bit about what I did last week and even some client examples, but how to use your book to attract other platforms. And maybe that needs a solid definition, but the idea is it's much like how we market our clients' books. And if you're a client of mine, how we market your book, right? The idea is that we want to create a great cover, a great title, a great hook. And then what we want to do is we want to put that in front of an awesome audience that is already saying, and they've already raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in this type of content. I'm interested in learning about this thing. That's how we market your books, right? When we do paid advertising on 60, 70 plus different websites all around the world, all we're really doing is we're finding the websites that are saying, that have hundreds of thousands, in some cases, millions of people visiting every month. And those people are saying, hey, I'm interested in this kind of book. I'm interested in this kind of topic. I want to learn more about this thing. And then all we're doing is putting our book in front of those people. Okay. Now, this idea of using your book to attract the right platform is an extension of that thought. It's an extension of that idea. And what the extension is as the idea that I preach regularly, right, that I'm the evangelist for, is using your book to attract your ideal client and get more of what it is that you want, right? And that could be anything from readers of all of your other content to selling high ticket services, coaching, consulting, products, etc., right? So you're going to do that a number of different ways. But one of the best ways to do that, which doesn't cost you anything, and believe it or not, you may actually be paid. I'm going to give you an example today of one of my clients that's being paid to promote his stuff on their platform, and it's a massive platform. If you can find a way to do that, then number one, obviously it's magic if you're being paid to do it, right? If you're being paid to promote your stuff. But even if it's free and all you're doing is you're offering your best stuff, your best ideas, your best thoughts on someone else's platform, then you're going to find if that platform is speaking to your ideal client, and of course, why even do it if it isn't? So it needs to speak to your ideal client. If that platform is doing that, then guess what? Boom, you now found a plethora of potential clients, people that are buying your coaching, your consulting, your done-for-you services, your courses, your book, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about my example from just last week. I'm going to share with you a great client example that this particular client used some of the things that we did and then produced, some real magic all on his own as well. So many of you know that last week I was invited down to West Palm Beach to participate in a big launch of a new newsletter in the internet marketing space with Rich Schefrin, who is a legend in the internet marketing space, and a number of other really successful online marketers. And I was certainly honored to be a part of it. Basically, they found me through a mutual relationship, and I'm going to share various steps a little bit later in this to show you exactly how you can go about doing this for yourself. But they found me through a joint mutual relationship and reached out to me to participate, not just in this launch, but also to be a contributor to their newsletter. Now, why is this important? Well, number one, the company that is doing this is Agora Financial. They're the largest company in our space. They primarily do financial newsletters, but they also have branched out into health. They've branched out into and now internet marketing and marketing information. And Rich is kind of the guru or the front of this. So they've asked me to contribute to this newsletter because they were looking for somebody in the publishing space that's actually like eating their own cooking, right? Not that we just do books, but we teach people and we show people how to use their books to get what it is that they want. And I do that every single day. That's how my clients find me. That's how new opportunities find me, et cetera, et cetera. So they wanted me to be a contributor. Now, this was, a lot of work, right? I need to write, prepare, create a contribution that is worthy of their newsletter. I needed to get myself on a plane, fly to South Florida, which I did on the red eye, spend 3 full days there to help with both the launch. I mailed my list, which is a very large list, and there's a lot of opportunity in mailing it. There's a lot of things that I did in my participation of this because it was something that I believed in and something that I thought I could bring value to my clients that are following me. But how does it bring value to me? Well, very simply, this newsletter will probably in the next 2 to 3 months have 20,000 paying subscribers and hundreds of thousands of opt-ins. Within a year, it will probably have 100,000 paying subscribers that on a semi-regular basis, every other month, every couple of months, will be hearing from me as a guest contributor, as the expert in my space, in the publishing, using a book to grow your business online space. So here's 100,000 people that are actually pulling money out of their pocket to learn this information, that are seeing me as a contributor, as the guru, so to speak, in this space. This creates an enormous amount of opportunity for me that I'm not paying for, right? I'm not coming out of my pocket and paying for advertising space. The payment that I'm making is by contributing my best stuff to this newsletter. Now, this is a huge opportunity. In fact, I had a number of people comment that they saw me, on the live stream and with others there, and were like, how did you get that opportunity and what happened? And obviously, I'm very honored to have it, but I wouldn't do it just for the honor. I do it for the opportunity that it means to my company. So why does this matter for you, and how can this help you in your business? Well, there are many Agora publishings and companies like Agora, many others, in fact, that are in my space that I could participate in, and certainly many that you could participate in your space right now, who have already brought together the eyeballs, who have already brought together the people that are raising their hands and saying, I'm really interested in this content and I'd really like to learn more about it. And wow, you're an expert in it. You're a guru in it. And no one likes that word guru these days, but I mean that in the most affectionate, positive way possible, right? You're the expert in that thing. I mean, they want to hear from you. So your goal is to, in every way possible, put yourself in the best position so that you can attract these opportunities to you. So I'm going to give you 4 steps. But prior to that, I want to share with you a client of mine, Dr. William Stack, who's a financial advisor. And I chose him. This has happened for a number of my clients who have done that, but I chose him because I felt like, well, the financial advice space is different than the online marketing space, right? And so I wanted to choose a client example that I felt like was different from mine. I gave you my example, right? As a contributor now to this newsletter, I'm going to see an enormous amount of opportunity come from it. But I thought, okay, let me choose like a good old fashioned brick and mortar business so you can kind of expand your mind and really think, how can I replicate this for my business? So I'm actually going to read some of what Bill wrote, because Bill and I had a conversation some time ago about this, and I took notes and I recorded it all, but then I used this and wrote everything out. So I want to read this to you. Now, remember what Bill did is we helped Bill do a book in the financial space so that Bill could attract financial advisory clients and partnerships with accountants and doctors and others that would refer him financial advice clients, right? So this is what Bill shared. I'm going to read some exactly what Bill wrote to me and what Bill said. He said, Rob, I've been in this. Here's how I use my book to, grow on someone else's platform. He said, Rob, I've been in one specific professional organization for over 14 years and was completely unknown in that organization until I wrote my book. Now, these are his words. He said, I went to them with my book and I showed them that my book had become a bestseller on the topic, meaning the financial topic that his professional organization represented. And I offered it to them for their professional library. In the first month, they obviously accepted. In the first month, it became the #1 book in their library. After several months of this book being #1, they asked me to serve on their board. And just this month, about 3 or 4 months later, I was elected as chairman of the board of this professional organization. All this happened in 1 year after my book was launched and after being completely invisible for over 14 years in this organization. So I'm going to read more, but let's stop right there and let's take a look at what Bill did and how you could potentially do the exact same thing. Many of you are part of professional organizations. Many of you are part of associations. And guess what? These associations are not just competitive. Certainly there are other people that are in the organization that directly compete with you, but many people that are part of that association are not competitive, but they're complementary. There are people that could be incredible referral sources for you, which is exactly what happened with Bill. If you're members of these organizations, then if you can find a way to grow your membership, right, increase your visibility in that professional organization, then guess what? People are going to look to you as an authority in the space, especially as a best-selling author. So you should replicate exactly what Bill did. If your book has already been launched, if it's already been done, you should go with that book to the president, vice president, whoever might be in charge in that association or professional organization. Find out if they have a professional library. Many of them do. If they don't, then no worries. You still may be able to create some type of emailing to their list. Maybe they would promote you on social media because you offer the book at a discount. The only reason that you're doing that, remember, is not just to sell and peddle your book. The idea is using your book so that you can raise your credibility and authority in that professional organization or association and thereby get more opportunities. Opportunities for referral partnerships, opportunities for people that come to you for your product, your service, your coaching, whatever it is. So Bill went on. He said, Rob, you guys helped me get some media for my book in the beginning. Obviously, we have our own internal PR firm. We book our clients on radio, TV, etc. He says, you helped me get featured on U.S. News and World Report, then Jim Cramer's The Street, then Reader's Digest. This was all for his financial services book. He said, the most amazing thing is one magazine that was in my industry contacted me about an article. And because of my reply, they offered to pay me to continue to write for them every single month. So now I am actually a contributor to their monthly publication, and I am actually getting paid to promote myself and my book to my audience. From this, he got new opportunities, new leads, and new sales, as well as book sales and other things. But, you know, what he's been able to do with that is take the credibility and authority from his book and from the media that we got him and that he, gets on his own as well, and then parlay that into an outside industry publication and write for them as a featured industry expert. Now, the people that read these magazines are people that are both in his industry and people that are interested in finding people in the industry that can help them solve their problems. You, whatever industry you're in, there are publications, magazines, blogs, podcasts, etc., that you can potentially become a regular contributor to. Now, you need to write something great. You need to give your best stuff. You know, just like me being a contributor to Agora's new newsletter, I'm going to have to contribute. I'm going to have to give my best stuff. And that's going to take some work, certainly. But it's going to introduce me to a massive audience that I otherwise would not be introduced to. Okay. So an example from my business, which is much online, an example from a brick and mortar financial business where, you know, it's kind of old school magazines and publications, and Bill's used that to grow his authority and status in associations, in professional organizations, and he's used that to become a regular contributor, a paid contributor for crying out loud, where he is getting on an ongoing basis leads, opportunities, and sales. You can do the same thing. Let me give you 4 steps, 4 simple steps that you need to take so that you can follow in Bill's footsteps, follow in my footsteps, etc., in using your book to get other people to promote you to their platforms. Number 1, you need to identify the best platforms for you, okay? You don't want to be on every platform. Doesn't make sense to be on every platform. If you're a dentist, it probably isn't best to be on a platform of chiropractors. Now, who knows? Maybe there is some synergies and referral, opportunities, but let's start with where you should first be. If you're a dentist, then you first want to be on high up in an association of dentists, especially if you're selling coaching, consulting, et cetera, to dentists. Wow. How great would that be? You want to be promoted in podcasts, in blogs, in newsletters, in articles, etc. So you need to identify the best associations, the best blogs, the best newspapers, the best magazines, etc., the best platforms that you say to yourself, you know what, if I got a featured article every month in this platform, it would really help me explode and grow my business. Identify them first. Number 2, you need to introduce yourself. Introduce yourself. Now, how do you do that? The best and easiest way is if you have some type of mutual relationship that can introduce you. Then they're introducing you as a best-selling author, featured on media, etc., that gives you the credibility along with the trust that mutual relationship has given you. Obviously, the first thing to do is to see, do I have any mutual relationships that might be able to make an introduction for me? Okay, that's how I got this opportunity with Agora. And I wasn't searching for it, it came to me, but I should have been searching for it. You should be searching for it. On the far other end of the spectrum, and not as successful, right? A lower success rate, but still a success rate. If you can't find a mutual relationship where there can be a beautiful introduction, then you want to reach out to them cold. And there's nothing wrong with reaching out to them cold. How should you do that? My first suggestion is that you should do that through direct mail. Now, that means you need to find their name, you need to find their direct mail address, but you should do it via direct mail, and you should send a copy of your book. You can print a copy of your book for $3, right? You can include a cover letter and a personal note to them, and then later you follow up with a telephone call. But no one is going to get a big, fat, lumpy package with a book in it and just toss it in the garbage. No one's going to do that. They're going to tear that open. They're going to look at it. And if someone sends you a book, they're going to look at the letter. They're going to see who it's from, and they're going to feel a sense of obligation, right? They're going to feel a sense of, okay, this is interesting. Now, again, it's not as great as a mutual introduction, but it's still really strong. So if you don't have the mutual introduction, then go cold, and don't be afraid of going cold. Send a copy of your book, send a great cover letter, and send a personal note, right? Handwritten by you, maybe a sticky or something on the cover of the book. Number 3, follow up and close. Step 3, follow up and close. What does that mean? You need the telephone number. You need to either have an assistant or yourself actually physically call them, right? Pick up the old school phone, say, hey, did you get a copy of my book that I sent you? I'd love to chat with you about the possibility of me, and you fill in the blank. sharing some additional content, offering some content and some training and some help to your organization, to your association. Hey, I've been a part of this professional organization for 10 years. I'm now a best-selling author. I'd love to offer my book to the professional organization at a discount, et cetera, et cetera. You have to figure out what it is you want, but you follow up and you close. And then I'm going to give you a fourth and important step after that is when you do get this opportunity, you need to give your best stuff, okay? If it's to write an article like Dr. William Stack does, Bill, then you need to write a great article, something that you spend good time on. It needs to be edited. It can't be something that you've taken from your website. It needs to be original content that you're creating. So if you're going to write something, it needs to be awesome. It needs to be edited. It needs to be fantastic. If it's video, if it's some type of audio stuff that you're doing, you just need to have your stories in line. You need to do a great job. When you give your best stuff, they're going to want more of your best stuff. They might even be willing to pay you. And at the very least, they're going to feature you more and more and more, which puts you in front of that large platform. And it gives you free leads, free opportunities all day long. You want to be on other people's platforms, the right ones. But these are the ones that you're choosing and the ones that you're going after. Hey, I hope this makes sense to you. Being on Agora's platform is a great opportunity for me. Dr. William Stack, being at the head of his professional organization, being a paid contributor in one of his FINRA professional magazines is a great opportunity. And you can do the exact same thing in whatever paid magazine, professional organization, et cetera, where they're looking on a regular basis for great content that's being contributed over and over and over again. This is what you want. It'll give you free leads and free opportunities, and your book will set you apart from everybody else. So I'm Rob Kosberg, Bestseller Publishing. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Now all you got to do is go do it. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. Every week, we're posting tons more content to help you to publish, promote, and profit. So go ahead and subscribe now to the channel and click the bell icon to be notified whenever new content is available. And if you're interested in my latest book, Publish, Promote, Profit, just go to publishpromoteprofit.com.